Welcome to Brain Secrets in the Age of the Brain. Where did Valentine's Day originate? Some say in the 3rd century, when Emperor Claudius II reportedly executed 2 men, both named Valentine, on February 14 of different years. One of those Valentine men wrote a love letter to the jailer's daughter and signed it, "From your Valentine." The oldest existing Valentine was also written in prison. In 1415, Charles, the Duke of Orleans, 21 years old and imprisoned in the Tower of London, authored a short poem and sent it to his wife, beginning with the words, "My very gentle Valentine." The first mass-produced Valentines appeared in the 1840s, and that was before my time. Nearly 70% of flowers given are red roses. Richard Cadbury reportedly created and decorated a box of chocolates in 1868 for his wife. And millions of heart-shaped boxes of chocolate are purchased every year. In the Middle Ages, historians say that the letter X was used to sign off documents, and the writer would then kiss it to affirm the oath related to the document. It was said to be sealed with a kiss. Now we get to join Asia Hudson and Grant Gilmore with more questions. Welcome to Brain Secrets again, Asia, on this side of the cameras.
Thank you, thank you.
I got that down pat now.
Definitely.
Speaking of Valentine's Day, do you know who statistically gets the most Valentines?
Moms.
Teachers.
Oh, that's sweet.
I think it's sweet. Followed by children.
Oh.
And then moms. And then spouses and partners. And what do you suppose the 5th one is? You have one of them.
Grandparents.
No.
Dads.
No.
Pets.
Pets. Good girl. Pets.
They're in last place?
Well, they're the top 5.
Oh, okay. That's not bad then.
No, it's not that bad. And so it doesn't matter the kind of pets, apparently, but the pet owners buy them something for Valentine's Day, and I think that's kind of cute. When I used to take my poodle in to get groomed on Valentine's Day, some people wanted their pets all fancied up and so on. Mm-hmm. My dog didn't like anything but her toenails painted. And when I picked her up, she sat down in front of me and held her paw up like this.
Aww.
And I didn't realize that dogs would even understand that they just got kind of prettied up.
That is so cute. I should take my cat in for a good grooming. She'd hate that.
Well, you know, if it has to be done, it has to be done. So, are you ready to see if Grant is ready to roll the film?
100%. I'm
good.
Ready.
Grant, how are you and where are you, and are you ready to roll the film?
We're ready to roll.
Oh, that's the typical male short answer. And it's the one I want, so thank you.
Your hair is so pretty. Yeah. Okay. Hi, ladies. Do you mind if we ask you a quick question? Sure. Okay, right on, right on. So we're doing a segment, and we're going to ask you the question. The question is, if you could ask a brain function specialist a question about brain function, what would you ask her?
Why am I getting forgetful in my older age?
That's a good question. Why are we getting forgetful in our older age?
Well, shoes and vehicles eventually wear out. The brain and body both change with age too. The brain is not a muscle, however, it responds much like muscle tissue. Use it or lose it is not flummery, it's real. Lack of physical and mental exercise can increase the space or synapse between neurons and slow memory functions. Medical and mental conditions, emotional problems, and isolation can alter memory functions. The brain needs healthy building blocks to keep the functions running efficiently. A lack of minerals and vitamins can contribute, such as B12 and D3. Healthier sources of carbohydrates that turn into quality glucose and avoid blood sugar spikes and falls can be very important. Learning to play a musical instrument and continuing to do so in retirement has been shown to help maintain brain function. I purposely spend a few minutes playing the piano every day. Do you know one of the worst contributors? Believing that you are going to lose your memory. I tell my brain every day, Arlene, you are retaining your memory. Choose to be happy. Think positively. Keep your life in balance. Hang out with wise friends. Develop your sense of humor and laugh a lot. Cumulatively, every little bit either hinders or helps.
Hi, can we ask you a quick question? Sure. Amazing. So the question is, if you could ask a brain function specialist a question about brain function, what would you ask her?
I would like to know what causes OCD.
That's a good one. Do you feel like you have OCD?
No. Oh. I have relatives that do.
Good. Yes, Dr. Taylor, what causes OCD? Thank you so much.
No one cause for OCD has been identified. Risk factors include heritability, because it tends to run in families, major life changes such as problems in school, abuse of any type, loss of a loved one, divorce, relationship issues, problems in school, or habits that develop during childhood, and adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. OCD is often comorbid, meaning it coexists with other mental illnesses, including anxiety and depressive disorders. Individuals with obsessive-compulsive disorder are aware that their thoughts and actions are abnormal or irrational. The disorder can dramatically interfere with a person's daily life. Stress tends to make the symptoms worse. It can be treated with medication for anxiety, depressive disorders, psychotherapy to address the underlying mental illness, cognitive behavioral therapy to help manage symptoms and relationships, and careful self-care strategies such as regular healthy meals, daily exercise, regular and adequate sleep patterns.
This one's really pretty. I love this one. This one's super cute. This is a good one. This is giving Charlie's Angels, which we love. Very Charlie's Angels. It's giving Sharon Stone. This is a great selection. We didn't ask our cameraman a question. Cameraman, do you have a question today? Do you have a question today?
So my question is, there's so many choices in this shop of wigs, and there's so many choices in life. What is the thing in our brain that makes us decide things?
That's a great question. Needs no summarization. He killed it. He's so good at this.
Choices appear to be made in the prefrontal cortex, directly behind the forehead. Until that part of the brain is mature, mid to late 20s and early 30s for some. Some choices may not be ideal. Yale researchers identified 3 circuits that connect with the prefrontal cortex that are involved in good decisions, poor decisions, and the storage of past choices in memory. Decision-making is altered in individuals with mental illness and in brains under the influence of methamphetamines. The pathways in these 3 circuits appear to be hijacked or altered in some way. One researcher gave this example. You're hungry and you want to choose a restaurant. Without the good choice circuit, you may not return to the restaurant with the tasty food. Or without the bad choice circuit, you might return to the restaurant with bad food. The third memory circuit is crucial in deciding whether to return to the restaurant where you had one bad meal after several very good meals. Alterations to these circuits likely explain one reason people continue to make harmful choices even after repeated negative experiences, as in addictive behaviors. On top of that, add one brain system that is fast, non-conscious, and emotionally charged, and another brain system that is slow, controlled, and rule-governed, but that tends to choke under stress. It's very complex.
Okay, what a wonderful question. I think that my last question would be, where does happiness go through the brain? And I'm asking that question because everybody in here is so nice and it's just felt like very happy. So how does happiness impact the brain? What channels does the feeling of happiness travel through? And if you were to show it on a X-ray or take a video of the brain, what would you see firing off? Those are my 3 questions. That's a long one, but here we go. Okay, we'll see you when we see you in person. All right, let's get to wigging.
What would your brain activity look like when it's being impacted by happiness? Fun question. PET scans showed that when the brain was happy, the left hemisphere lighted up, happiness being a form of joy, one of the basic emotions. When the brain was experiencing one of the protective emotions, however, anger, fear, or sadness, the right hemisphere lighted up. MRI studies found that the brains of happy people showed more gray matter in an area in the parietal lobe known as the precuneus. This region is hidden in the longitudinal fissure between the 2 cerebral hemispheres. Grant, do you know where my brain is?
The one in your head?
No. Let me rephrase. Do you know where my brain model is on the other side of the cameras? And if you do, please give me half of it.
Oh yeah, we got it right here.
Thank you. I love my little prop here. The precuneus is responsible for more than 60 functions and becomes active when the brain is experiencing consciousness. This is a cutaway of the brain. You can look at it from either side. So this would be the prefrontal cortex. This is the frontal lobe. This is the parietal lobe. And this is the occipital lobe. When you look inside, see this right here? This is the corpus callosum. It and at least 3 other bridges connect the 2 hemispheres. So the precuneus, do you see this little triangular piece right here? It's right above the corpus callosum. That's where the precuneus is located. And scans showed changes in the amygdala as well. two little almond-shaped organs that register emotions. And those two little organs are right here, sitting underneath the end of the corpus callosum. It's just amazing what's embedded in the middle of the brain. The brains of the happiest of the study participants, those who had scored 5 and above on a 7-point happiness test, looked very different from the others. When the happiest participants were shown positive images, the activity in their amygdalae rose much higher than it did in the less happy people. Happiness is associated with energy and wellness. It appears that because happy people tend to notice and respond more strongly to joyful objects and events in the world, their increased sensitivity helps reinforce their happiness over time, and they can become happier and happier. So the question I like to ask best every single time is, did you have a favorite question?
Absolutely. It's funny because my favorite question was Grant's question, where he said, how is it that you can make choices? What in the brain helps you to make choices and decisions? Because there were so many phenomenal wigs in Kelly's shop, and she was telling me I could try things on, and I could not pick. I had a really difficult time to where she had to pick for me. And I love that he asked that question because it was inspired by my confusion. Everybody in there was trying on things that they felt worked for them. And I felt like the answer that you gave was really interesting too. So that was definitely my favorite question.
Well, the other thing is, there's nothing wrong with you having difficulty making a choice because brains only have 2 hemispheres. And studies show that if you want to make a good decision, you only give the brain 2 options at a time. And that doesn't mean those are the only 2, but it would be like, all right, Asia, put these 2 on, A and B. Which do you like most? B. Okay, fine. All right, Asia, put these 2 on. Here is B and D. Which do you like best? Mm-hmm. And if you may stick with B, but you may get one down the line about Z. And you just keep giving the brain 2 options until you come up with one you feel good about.
That is actually extremely helpful life advice for where I'm at right now. So that's perfect. Thank you.
You know, I was thinking as we were doing this, when I was a little girl, yes, there were commercial Valentines, but we didn't have a lot of options and they cost money. Mm. And when I was very young, my parents didn't have any discretionary money. So my mother would get us colored paper and coloring pencils or crayons, and we would draw hearts and cut them out and write a message on the back. And we did have fun with that. I admired some of my teachers in elementary school because on Valentine's Day, everybody would exchange Valentine. You would write it to the person, put it in a big bowl, and then the teacher would call everybody's name out as she picked them, and they could come up and get their Valentine. She made a Valentine for every single child.
Aww.
So that every single child would get a Valentine, at least one. And I thought that was so, so sensitive on her part.
What a great teacher.
I thought it was, and I've tried to remember things like that. You know, that's just a little empathy from the times with some teachers I didn't get any Valentines because some of the kids thought I was really weird because I didn't think like the other kids. Well, I think that does it for this program. Thanks again for a wonderful bunch of questions.
Of course.
And I am looking forward to next time.
Us too.
And thank you, our viewers, for watching. Until next time, remember that of all the virtues, love is said to be the greatest. There's nothing in this world like giving and receiving genuine love. Choose to love yourself enough to take good care of yourself in a healthy way. Choose to love others with empathy. Genuine love never fails. That's a brain secret.